Well, I'm George Mansfield. I'm the Vice President of our International Business Unit for Oshkosh Defense. And what you see behind me is our JLTV, the utility configuration. This version has longbow Hellfire missile system on it, a machine gun, and also a optics suite. Well, the U.S. Army has given Oshkosh a contract for up to about 17,000 of these vehicles in 4 different configurations. This is one of the configurations, and what we've put on this vehicle is just a capability that is demonstrating a capability of what we could put on a utility type vehicle. Okay, this vehicle behind me is our general purpose vehicle, so it's a 4-door vehicle. It has 4 seats and then a gunner's seat. On this version, we have a remote weapon station mounted on the top, a Konigsberg remote weapon station on the top. And it's, like I say, a 4-door versus the other one was a 2-door utility vehicle with just a flat back on it. Well, Oshkosh 2 years ago received a contract to deliver up to 17,000 JLTVs in 4 different configurations to replace their up-armored Humvee fleet. Actually, we're in tests with the JLTV right now. We will go into full rate production in December of 2018, and at that time, the U.S. Army and the Marine Corps will start fielding vehicles. And yes, there is other interest in other NATO countries right now to get JLTVs, but there are none in service and we have no orders at this point in time.
Raytheon has been working with Rafael, a trusted teammate, for a number of years now, building components for Iron Dome for the nation of Israel. We thought it was a logical next step to bring that system into the United States to Sky Hunter. It's a great system. For a very small amount of investment, we bring a huge capability to the U.S. and to its allies. There are several threats it's designed for. It was originally designed for counter-rocket artillery mortar. However, it's very, very capable against air-breathing threats, helicopters, aircraft, unmanned air surveillance systems, and as well as some of the low-end cruise missiles. I can to an extent, unclassified, it's about a 15-kilometer range. That's 360 degrees from the launcher. What you have behind here is a launcher, one launcher of a battery. We brought in an entire battery to the United States to show that capability. So with that battery, you have command and control, you've got missiles, you've got launchers, as well as a radar. So the whole system together provides the capability we think is needed to fill the gaps out there.
Good afternoon. Thanks for stopping by. My name is Christopher Colquitt. I am a project manager with the Chevy Colorado ZH2. So what's unique about this Chevy Colorado is it's powered by a hydrogen fuel cell. So this is a zero-emission electric vehicle, and what we're doing is we're taking hydrogen as our onboard fuel, and we're converting that into electricity to power the vehicle, the motors, all the auxiliary components, and then we are delivering that. The exhaust is nothing but water vapor. Fuel cells offer some really compelling advantages over a combustion engine that, of course, the zero-emission ability to use renewable energy to power the fuel that goes into it. But from an onboard driving characteristic, we have tremendous amounts of wheel torque. The system is very quiet. It's nearly undetectable to hear when it's operating. And we have the ability to export power out of the vehicle, so eliminating the need for a separate generator to be brought out into the field to power equipment, and then nothing but water vapor out the tailpipe that was, if we were so inclined to capture it, obviously could provide water out in a remote location. Yeah, so in this case, we integrated the fuel cell system into a Chevy Colorado, so we can show that it's absolutely possible to have fuel cell vehicles or fuel cell propulsion systems in regular vehicles. Absolutely. Yeah, so that's what we're exploring, and this is a collaboration between General Motors and U.S. Army TARDEC to really explore the viability and the feasibility of using this type of propulsion system for future military vehicles. Yeah, so that's what we're actually getting geared up for. So we have a Gen 0 fuel cell system on board this Colorado ZH2, but General Motors is going to be going into production with a commercial fuel cell system that's actually about 60% smaller than what you see under the hood of this vehicle and about half the mass in the 2020 timeframe. So we are very serious about commercializing fuel cell technology, and we see a world, a zero-emission electric drive future that's a combination of batteries and fuel cells, enabling us to have these zero-emission vehicles.
Well, there's been a real gap in all of the headquarters capabilities and command and control. Most of the vehicles are not adaptable to higher headquarters command post requirements, and so we developed on our own dollar, our own investment, a Stryker command post with, as you can see, a high back that allows the soldiers inside to stand up while they're inside rather than sit down. And it provides all the workstations they need. It's very mobile, because what we've found from the lessons learned from the activities going on in Eastern Europe, if you're stationary, you're dead. And so the issue is, how do you keep your command and control up and running while you're moving? And this is one of the examples of doing this. We partnered with our GD Mission Systems group in putting a comms package in here that would provide all of the communications that a division corps headquarters would need in a mobile command post. So we think it has merit. It looks as though there's going to be an operational needs statement again coming from Europe to provide them something similar to this. We don't know that this is the exact solution, but it's certainly one of the options. Well, if you looked at our SHORAD launcher that was cut off in the back, this is another module that would go on that cut off vehicle. You can put all kinds of different modules on the back that would allow you to do a command post. You could do the SHORAD launcher. There's some other things that we're looking at, a recovery vehicle. So we think it's a very utilitarian design, and could be put to use on a lot of things the Army needs in the future. We are working with the Army to identify things that could increase the capability of the Abrams platform. It's been a very versatile platform, first delivered in the 80s, and has been modernized through incremental changes. But these incremental changes aren't little changes. These are big changes. This is like going from a P-38 to an F-35. And so we've used the platform. It has a lot of growth capability in it. The next V4 version will include a lot of lethality increases to it. This last one was more on the reliability side. And so we're working with the Army to decide what are those things that are potential. It may be the last upgrade to the Abrams fleet to go to the V4, and then at some point in time in the future there may be the option of changing out the main battle tank. I don't know. But V4 is a chance for us to really sit down with the Army and come up with a solution that we can implement quickly that gives them increased capability over the V3, and it'll primarily be focused on lethality. We just got under contract with them, and so we're going through a lot of trade studies and options that we think might make sense. So it's really hard to say on what the decision is going to be, on what that next increment of improvement is going to be. But I think it will be pretty significant. I think there's a decision point in a couple years for the Army to make that leap. I'm not sure they're ready to make it right now. The Abrams is still, I think, with the V3 capability overmatched to any tank in the world still, but it's getting close, and so the Army is watching that very, very carefully to make sure that whatever they plan for the next increment, whether it's an enhanced V4 or whether it's the next main battle tank, that it'll give our soldiers significant overmatch to any of our competitors out there. But right now, we're still competitive, and so I think the Army is being very astute in the way they're bringing the evolution of the tank along. Well, the Army right now is still focused on a man turret. They believe that the situational awareness that you get with your commander with his head out of the turret looking around is better than cameras. The new soldiers of today's Army are more used to looking at games on their video, so that may change over time, but right now the Army's still looking at a man turret. Now, Whether they change that philosophy or that culture, that'll be up to them. There are options of bringing the crew back into the vehicle and having an unmanned turret with an autoloader. I'm not sure they're quite ready to make that leap yet. We're experimenting with the Army on using the tank as the controller with some optional autonomous vehicles that could be either weaponized or provide smoke or those kinds of things. So we're experimenting. We just did an experiment at Fort Benning in August that was very successful. So the Army is learning in bits and pieces on how that they would employ that kind of capability, and we're in lockstep with them every step of the way, trying to help them understand that technology, that autonomy, and how best to use it in their formation.
Thank you very much.